Syrinx ran away from Pan. She thought that he was so ugly. Pan chased after her, and to escape from him, she changed herself into a reed. She stood among hundreds of other reeds on the riverbank, and Pan could not find her. As he walked through the reed patch, sighing and looking for her in vain, the wind blew through the reeds. They swayed and bent and made a plaintive whistling sound. Pan listened, enchanted. "Thus you and I shall always sing together," he said. He cut 10 reeds into unequal lengths, and he tied them together, making the first panpipe. He called this new instrument his syrinx, for every time he played on it he thought that he heard the melodious voice of his beloved nymph. Again, Pan was lonesome, and he retreated into his cool cave, deep in the woods, and scared away all passer-bys with his unearthly screams. Splendid Apollo himself fared no better than Pan when he fell in love with a nymph called Daphne. Daphne had a cold heart. She had vowed never to marry, and when Apollo wooed her, she would not listen to the sound of his golden lyre, and ran away. As she fled, she was lovelier still, with her golden hair streaming behind her, and Apollo could not bear to lose her. He set off in pursuit, beseeching her to stop. Daphne ran toward the bank of a river that belonged to her father, the river god Ladon, calling him to save her from her pursuer. Ladon had no time to rise out of his riverbed and come to his daughter's rescue, but the moment Daphne's toes touched the sand of the riverbanks, he changed them into roots. Apollo, who was close at her heels, caught up with her, but the instant he threw his arms around her, his arms changed into branches, her lovely head into the crown of a tree, and she became a laurel. Still, inside the hard bark, Apollo could hear the beating of Daphne's frightened heart. Apollo carefully broke off some twigs and made a wreath of the shining leaves. "Fair nymph," he said, "you would not be my bride, but at least consent to be my tree, and your leaves shall crown my brow." Daphne would rather be an unmoving tree than the bride of the great god Apollo, but all the other nymphs loved to sit at his feet and listen to his enchanting music, and they were very honored when he or any of the other great Olympian gods would choose one of them to be their bride.